Chris here, and welcome to a camera comparison between the iPhone 14 Pro Max, the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, and then the Xiaomi 12S Ultra. What you're looking at right now is the front-facing cameras, video performance. So we don't have 4K with the Xiaomi 12S Ultra. They only shoot 1080p for some reason, and as you can see, the quality is suffering. Not because of that, but also the processing. You can see there's a big difference between the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the S22 Ultra. Now I am swapping over the audio sources, and what I'm going to do now is just run up some stairs here and I'll test the stability here with the front facing camera. Let me know in the comments which one you think has the best stability with the front cameras and the best audio quality. And a very quick message here from this video's sponsor, Pitaka. So if you're after a great case for your iPhone 14, your 14 Pro, or your Pro Max, take a look at their Mag Easy Case 3. Now this has a aramid fiber in it. It's a high quality case, yet it is very thin, under 1mm, only weighs 20 grams, and it supports wireless charging. All of your MagSafe accessories are going to be compatible with it, and it does give decent protection for where your camera module is. So you can see that the surround around it means that those cameras are not going to be touching the lenses when you place it down. And there's protection all around the sides here and down the bottom. So if you need a thin case that's not bulky, I highly recommend these. Check out the link in the description of this video for more info on the Pitaka Mag Easy Case 3. Ultra-wide cameras now. Across all three of them, they have electronic image stabilization, of course. So as I pan around, I'll do it slowly. None of them should have any judder because these are, after all, flagship phones, very expensive with powerful processors. So I'm going to run down these stairs, jog down them. Which is the steadiest with the ultra-wide here? Let me know in the comments. And of course, which one has the best audio quality and the least wind noise? 4K 60 frames per second now. Hello Vera, do you want to say hello to everyone? So focus on all three. It is looking pretty good here. Of course, all three cameras in a slightly different position on my setup that I have here. I'm just going to run ahead. So which one here do you think is the smoothest when it comes to 4K 60 frames per second? So the main camera's rear video. I've noticed that the focus on all three does seem to be very good. I really have not seen any problems. They tend to get a quick lock. And you notice that when I pan around here, maybe one of these Android phones will have a little bit of judder, maybe even the iPhone 14 Pro Max, hopefully not. I'm just taking it really easy as I pan around. And with all of them, we can apply a little bit of zoom here. So with the Samsung, I've got 10 times, so let's go over to that and see if I can zoom into the boat. I'll just go to the max zoom that I have here with the Xiaomi. It's going to allow me, that is, well, 13 times at the moment. You can see the 10 times, and I'll go to 3 here on the iPhone. And you can see there is the boat steaming ahead. So I'll just bring back the 12S Ultra zoom a little bit there. I'll bring it back to, there we go, that's 10 times now. So the same as the Samsung. And I'll apply a bit of digital zoom here with that iPhone. So that's now 5 times digital. How does that look compared to the other two? Now the action mode and Supersteady modes on the other two phones here, you can see that it is the iPhone 14 Pro Max, at least to my eyes, that is the more steady out of these three phones. So this means you could use it, if you didn't have one on you, as an action camera. You can see running up this little hill here, just how much steadier that iPhone 14 Pro Max is. So it gets a win here for the Supersteady mode. And the front cameras here in low light, you can see, not looking as good as daylight, of course. Very difficult for those small little sensors. Low light video performance, 4K 30 frames per second. And you can see all of them have that funny lens effect. You see with the lights how they're shining around. It's not so bad maybe on the 12S Ultra, but they really do need that Zeiss T-Star coating that Lenovo's using, Sony's using, would make things a little better. And I'm just going to walk ahead to test out the stabilization at night, because this is where it is very hard for these phones. So let me know again in the comments which one you think is best at low light video. Over to still photos now. So I think the colors look the best on the S22 Ultra here, just more pleasant, a little bit too cool on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And here with another shot, I think, again, the colors look a little bit better with the S22 Ultra. It also seems to have the best stitching, but none of them really got my sunglasses right. Portrait photos. So it's the iPhone 14 Pro Max here or the S22 Ultra. I like the S22 Ultra colors better and the detail. The iPhone 14 Pro Max does the best job of the shadows, but it's almost a little too bright. And then the 12S Ultra, well, it's simply too contrasty and we just lose so much detail in the shadows. This time a portrait shot of Vera. So it's definitely not the 12S Ultra. It just is a very hit and miss camera. The focus is out. So no point having a 1-inch sensor if you can't even get the basics right here, Xiaomi. So it's either between the 14 Pro or the S22 Ultra. And I prefer the shot of the 14 Pro here because it captures more detail on the blacks. All right, now this one's really difficult. The ultra-wide shot here, they all look excellent, but I don't really like the color balance of the Xiaomi so much. And when you crop in now, you can see it's either between the iPhone 14 Pro Max or the S22 Ultra. Down to personal preference. I think the iPhone 14 Pro, but then again, I'd say the S22 Ultra. It's a tie here for me because the iPhone kind of over sharpens a little bit, and it's a very pleasant image from the S22 Ultra. Really difficult shot this one. I think the iPhone 14 Pro Max took it. Now hit pause, take a look, study this, take a look at the crystal balls, look at the chandelier. I know some people will say the iPhone 14 Pro Max is over sharpening here, but when you take a look at just the whole general image, factoring in details in the shadows and everything, I think it's the iPhone, and the colors were actually more true to life here. Finally, we get to see the Xiaomi's 1-inch sensor come into play here. It doesn't really even look like a mobile phone shot. Good background blur there. And I think here, most people will probably go for the S22 Ultra. The pink actually looks the best on it. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is clipping the pink colors a little. So is the Xiaomi, but my pick here is actually the Xiaomi, and I'm pretty sure most people would probably disagree with me and go for the S22 Ultra. Okay, so look at the details in the shadows here. It's either between the 14 Pro or the 12S Ultra. I find that the iPhone 14 Pro here is over sharpening a little bit. The colors, the more correct colors, are the 12S Ultra. So that I'm going to lean towards the 12S Ultra. That one I'm going to give the win here because it just has the more accurate colors. Another really difficult one here. So my pick would be the iPhone 14 Pro Max or the 12S Ultra because they have more pleasant background blur. But I do actually like what I'm seeing with the 14 Pro Max here. I find that the S22 Ultra here just tend to kill a few of those details in the background there, being a little too contrasty, those blacks just too deep. And I think, yeah, the iPhone 14, just. Zoom cameras, no contest here because we've got 3 times optical versus 10 times optical versus 5 times optical. And what happens if you then crop them all so the image is more or less about the same? You can see that the S22 Ultra, yes, retains and has the most detail, the best detail in shadows, but I still like the image here from the 12S Ultra. I don't think it's too bad for 5 times optical. You can see quite a bit of noise now coming through with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Really good HDR test with this shot. So they all did a good job of capturing the clouds, the sun, as best as they could. It all really boiled down to the white balance. And that is more correct on the iPhone 14 Pro Max here with its ultra-wide camera. Keeping with that ultra-wide, this is now, of course, low light and, yeah, not good at all across all 3. These ultra-wide sensors, the lenses, they're not designed for low light, and it clearly shows. So when you crop in, they all look terrible. I would not be using that at all. Okay, so they all look so close here, but then take a look at the details in some of the little shrubs around the pillar, then look at the lights. When you crop in, it's clear to me that the Galaxy S22 Ultra did take this win here. This particular photo here, it's really too close to call, and you're probably saying, well, how can you say too close to call? But wait a second. Look at the 12S Ultra. The sky is black as it should be. Look at the neon lights, the way they are captured. The colors are actually the best on the 12S Ultra. Now, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it's got a little bit more noise to it. It's certainly the brightest. It's a good shot, but I lean towards definitely the 12S Ultra here. This shot of the castle, I think, went to the S22 Ultra. The 12S Ultra is good, but look at the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I want to talk about that horrible lens flare, the noise. It's not actually a good shot. The lens flare is just terrible, and I'm so disappointed that Apple has still not fixed this. Zoom cameras with their night shot modes, and I think it's the S22 Ultra here. They're all looking a little bit blurry, and do not worry, my cat Wappo here, I did not use a flash, I did not blind him. He just isn't too impressed I'm taking photos of him at 10 o'clock at night. So that's a wrap. My quick findings here are that the video quality of the iPhone is the winner. The audio quality with the iPhone, I think, was the best because it actually applied a bit of a wind filter that turned out to help out in the end. Low light photography, well, it's very close, but I think the S22 Ultra is the king there. And then daytime shots, I lean towards the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Zoom cameras, the S22 Ultra. So do you agree with that? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of this comparison? I hope you did like it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, and do subscribe for more.